Hey, Islam family, peace and love. I want to go in real quick today on mailing in general. Just the fact that we mail as Moors foreign is only one portion of the things that be going on in our issues. So I want to break down a few things um, because I got a constant amount of emails and packages going out. So I'm always sending out tracking numbers. I might have maybe 10 to 15 ready right now, and about 10 or so orders that are pending um, in between status, basically. Just haven't gone into packaging yet, whether it be paperwork, IDs, or whatever. But the thing is, we have issues as Moors. And it's a few things that play into that, along with the fact that mail in general is just janky. So, first off, part of it is just janky carriers. Excuse me. A lot of times, they think nationality cards, when they feel it, maybe a credit card, debit card, or something like that, and try and steal it. Like that happens a lot. I've had packages that have been opened and repackaged, and people got it. I've had some that have been opened, closed, repackaged, or closed, taped up, and returned. That happens too. So, they get into it, see it's not a credit card, and then get to trying to, oh, okay, and, repair what they did because they shouldn't have done it in the first place. You know, but, regardless of that, we still have to be on alert, checking our tracking numbers all the time, things of that sort. Um, Another issue comes up a lot, and this one here more dealing with the free national name. I think is my opinion on what's going on with it, but basically, it be carriers that will, when your mail come, they'll just say put it on there, not deliverable as addressed, is what it'll usually say, and they'll return it. Basically saying no one at this address has their name, which they don't have the right to determine who stays where and who gets mail at what location. But regardless of that fact, I see it happen a lot. So I try and give people their tracking numbers, especially if it's in an area where I know it happens more often. That's another thing too. Certain locations, when it comes to mailing, are just jankier than others. So in particular, out here in Texas, Dallas is real bad. It got to the point where there was this one brother that I had that I worked with. I was mailing him the packages for people in that area and having him deliver other Moore's mail because he was the only one that I know that was getting mail from me at that time. And that was weird, but just one of the things that's going on. So we got to do what we got to do to get around it. Um, Another thing is they don't send on direct routes a lot of times. So I have a video from way back where they sent one of my packages going from Houston that should have been straight up the freeway I-59, 69. It has two names. But it basically should have been 4 hours straight down the road. This package got sent over to Arizona and then over to Shreveport, Louisiana before it came back to Marshall, Texas, where um, I had family that was receiving it. So, you know, that made me realize and start looking into it with other different packages and routes and things of that sort. And sometimes you'll be mailing something to, I don't know, let's say like Wisconsin, which I don't think I've ever mailed anything to Wisconsin, but because it's not a more popular state, they may route that mail through New York or California or somewhere else that's way out of that direction first. So packages are always late, and this is across carriers, not just USPS, the regular mail. This is all of them. The only actual service that's fairly decent is Amazon, and you can't ship most stuff through Amazon. It probably would be better if we could. Um, but like I was saying, the routes are just not straight routes. So they send stuff all around. You never know. I've had out of country returns where they'll send something. Let's say I was sending it to Arkansas. I had something like that. I was sending to Arkansas. They sent it through New York, through Jamaica, Queens, because that is one of their international um, mailing hubs, and then they send it through Dominican Republic before it came back to Texas from Arkansas. This is just how it works sometimes because when you're mailing like a more foreign, we have our ways, and sometimes they'll look at it and say, oh, okay, it's foreign mail, and go send that shit off and return it, to a foreign post office, because they have different ones, before they send it back to you. So if you're not checking the tracking and don't really know what's going on, something like that could happen. And in any of these kind of situations, generally, if something is taking too long, I'll just redo the order and send it off, and not worry about it until that other one comes back later on, because things just happen. you know Another big issue, I give people that tracking number and they don't check the tracking number, or they check the tracking number, see something is going on where they may be holding it at the post office, and then they don't call up there and say, hey, I need my package, or go up there personally and go retrieve it. The thing is, about once a month, I have someone that basically that happens to. They'll get that tracking number and it'll just be have been holding, because that's one thing they'll do before they return the mail, with one of these janky things saying it was undeliverable, or they tried to steal out of it, or whatever. Before they return it, sometimes they'll just sit and hold your mail for 2 or 3 weeks. It'll just be sitting there at the post office. So if anything has been a little bit too long, reach out to me if you don't have the tracking number, and if anything looks a little weird, call them or go up there, because, like I say, this is what they do. So they'll just be sitting up holding your mail for 2 or 3 weeks, send it back. So by the time it comes back to me, I had no clue. It's been a month or two now, and you looking at me like I did something wrong, when it's been sitting at your local post office for the last 3-4 weeks. Like, that just, it happens too much, and I have issues with people only because I'll give them the tracking number. Sometimes they'll see that it's something wrong, but still blame that on me, and say, because they've never had an issue with other mail before, not knowing how much the mail is really irregular, say it's something that I'm doing. And the thing is, I mail out hundreds of things to Moores every year, if not thousands, dealing with paperwork, IDs, and all of that. So with as much mailing as I do, I have videos over the years y'all can go back and check. I'm probably gonna make a playlist for all of these that I have, just to show. And also, the local news has done coverage on how janky the mail is here and in other places all over the country. But one thing that they've said on our local news here, Houston has the worst processing hub in the country. So I may drop something off in the box. It may take 2 or 3 days sometimes to process through that processing center before it goes out to the rest of the country. But sometimes it'll be instant, and people get their package in 2 or 3 days. I have no control over that. I have no clue of what's going on when I send it out. They are a fiduciary, a trustee. And when they do something wrong, they can be checked. And it's not just me to do it. You can do it on your own if you have the shipping address to where it's going and the tracking number, and say, hey, it's my package. You have the right to go get it. No one can really say that it's not for you, especially if you do yourself have ID or some way of saying, hey, this is mine. And you can always reach out to me for that if you don't have it. Another problem I've only had maybe once or twice in a few years, well, maybe about 4 or 5 years, but every once in a while, something will come back. Well, it won't come back. When it gets to the receiver side, it'll be a prepaid mailing, but they'll say it wasn't paid, and that person owes postage. If that's the case, ship it back, and I'll reship it to you, and that shouldn't happen again. That's the easiest way to handle that. Excuse me, y'all. But one of the biggest things that anyone can do to avoid, everything that I've talked about today, all of these issues, is on USPS website. They have something called Informed Delivery that you can go sign up for. And it'll let you know when all of your mail and your packages are coming. Anytime someone is sending you a package, as soon as the tracking gets uploaded, it'll ping and alert you. And you can check it out on their website. And also, like, daily, they'll also send you something if you have something coming, saying, hey, you got something coming in, whether it be mail or packages. And just in general, when it comes to mailing, I have more advanced videos on the mailing as a more, how we mail for free, foreign a fixed postage, go out, from our foreign office. And you can check that out on my Ko-fi site. I'll leave that in the description. Peace and love.